I stole my then best friend's wedding cake the day of the wedding. My 28 female, best friend 31 female was supposed to have her wedding in mid-January. It was scheduled to be a very lavish wedding, the theme being blue because she didn't want to have white on white with the snow. My best friend was being quite a bridezilla the days leading up to her wedding, and bridezilla is not quite the word for the day of. She was being a complete bitch for lack of better words. My task, of course, was going to be something simple for someone who had done so much to help me. Her words. This task was very much not simple. The drive to the bakery was a 45-minute trip each way, and the bride suggested I drive slowly to avoid the cake being messed up. So I would have to take a separate route, which would end up being around an hour and 15 minutes on the trip back with the cake. I got up bright and early at 6 a.m. and began the trip shortly thereafter. By the time I got back to the venue with the hotels everyone was staying in, it was about 9 o'clock. So, as I'm unloading the cake, the bride's mom starts to look uneasy. I thought it was because it was freezing outside, but she called over my best friend and she went absolutely berserk. Well, somehow, she failed to inform the cake decorator that she would like the cake to be a matching blue color as well. How does one forget to do this? She adamantly denied that she forgot to inform the decorator of the color, but this was only one of many other grievances from the bride that were her own fault, that she very much blew up at and did not acknowledge that they were her fault. My best friend got all up in my face and told me I needed to go back ASAP. I obliged. I made the trip back to the decorator and profusely apologized as I explained the situation. Apparently no big deal on a big wedding day for someone else and a slow day for cake decorator. I FaceTimed with my friend the whole time so she could see how everything was going. She seemed very pleased over the phone and said it was perfect. I paid for the touch-up on the cake out of pocket and left. I got back to the venue at around 12 o'clock. My friend saw the cake being set up and immediately blew up once again. She accused me of swapping out the cake she had seen over the call for a different, shittier version. She didn't even let me get one more word in as she backed me into my car seat and made other people pack the cake in the back. She told me to come back with the correct cake or I would just be cut from the wedding. I took my chances and just drove home. I put my phone on silent and ate the cake with my boyfriend and our families. Nobody knows the real story of why I had a wedding cake randomly on a Sunday night for dinner except for my boyfriend, and I don't feel guilty.
Would I be the asshole for not returning a $1,000 gift given to me by coworkers because they thought I was pregnant? On my last day at my old job, my coworkers left me a goodbye card with $1,000 cash in it. This was March 2020 and I moved a few hours away. Well, last week, March 2023, I saw a former coworker who patted my stomach. She asked if this was my second and I internally died because oh my gosh, she thinks I'm pregnant. I tell my coworker I don't have any kids and I'm just fat and she looks awkward and I feel awkward. Well, this morning I get a call from HR passing on a message from a different coworker asking for the money to be returned because it was meant as a maternity gift. Am I the asshole for not returning a $1,000 gift given to me by coworkers because they thought I was pregnant? They said it was a maternity gift for my baby and that me being fat and wearing shirts that emphasized my belly was deceptive. And that I tricked the coworker into thinking I was pregnant. Since she took the donations from the staff under that pretense, now everyone in the office is talking about it. HR said they can't force me to do anything, but it would be nice to return it. I no longer have the card, but I'm sure it didn't say anything about me being pregnant. I'm feeling both crushed and upset that it actually wasn't a going away gift and not once did any of my coworkers ask if I was pregnant. Am I the asshole for not returning a $1,000 gift given to me by coworkers because they thought I was pregnant? They said it was a maternity gift for my baby and that me being fat and wearing shirts that emphasized my belly was deceptive. And that I tricked the coworker into thinking I was pregnant. Since she took the donations from the staff under that pretense, now everyone in the office is talking about it. HR said they can't force me to do anything, but it would be nice to return it. I no longer have the card, but I'm sure it didn't say anything about me being pregnant. I'm feeling both crushed and upset that it actually wasn't a going away gift and not once did any of my coworkers ask if I was pregnant. Am I the asshole for telling my cousin that she was showing too much skin? Last summer, my cousin Naomi, who was 19 at the time, and her parents were visiting my parents for the weekend. I, at the time 27 male, happened to come home on the Saturday while my cousin was still there. That afternoon, I walked into the visitor's bedroom to chill with Naomi and saw she was lying down on the bed facing the floor just surfing the web on her phone. She was wearing a very revealing tank top and basketball shorts and I could see her bra and basically her entire body. So I immediately noped out of the bedroom and she asked what was wrong, so I came back inside and discreetly told her I could see too much skin. Am I the asshole for telling my cousin she was showing too much skin? She looked at me visibly weirded out and told me, dude, it's just skin. I replied back to her and things escalated a bit mildly and I ended up simply leaving her room. While I was leaving, Naomi threw a pillow at the door and later on we were called down for dinner. Naomi came down and I could tell that she had been crying, however, she was apparently feeling fine enough to remain dressed in her offending tank top and shorts. Ooh. When her parents and my parents asked what was wrong, she brushed it off and didn't tell them about the encounter. We still haven't made up, and even when I texted her Merry Christmas, she said leave her alone.
Am I wrong for telling my dad that I don't want him walking my cousin down the aisle? My 16 female, cousin 23 female, is getting married in November. She's the only daughter of my dad's brother. For some context, we don't get along at all. She bullied me while growing up, and after my uncle passed away, she tried to steal my dad. He never allowed it and made time for both of us, but to this day, my cousin still says that I was a bitch for not letting her have a parental figure, which is not true. Neither my mom or dad allowed her to mistreat me or abuse me, but there's so much a parent can do. She used to do it while they weren't watching too, and I was too afraid to tell them because I could see how important it was for my dad to have a relationship with her, so I kept quiet. While the bullying decreased and never went away, she still makes fun of me because I'm single, because I'm dumb, etc. When she got engaged, she excluded me from the bridal party, and it wouldn't matter if it wasn't for the fact that she included the rest of the family. My dad found this suspicious, and things got a lot worse with her funny comments that I'll probably attend alone and that she didn't think the bridesmaid dress would be flattering to me because of my size. She took my parents to dinner last week and asked my dad to walk her down the aisle, and I don't know what excuse he gave her, but after that, he came to my room and asked me if it would be okay for him to do this. I was honest. I said no. I told him that she made most of my life hell even before my uncle passed away, and since I was his only daughter, I thought it would be an experience between us that I knew she would ask, and I only wanted to make my feelings clear, but at the end of the day, the decision was his, and I'll accept whatever he decides because I know how important she is for him. He told me that he loved her as a daughter too, and that was it. Well, my dad told her no, and now my cousin is blaming me, telling everyone that I forced him, that I was a jealous little bee, and that if I don't fix it, then I wouldn't be welcome to her wedding. My mom and my aunt sided with her that it was a low blow from my part, and most of her family is saying that it wasn't fair. My mom called me yesterday and told me that I should have lied because this was an important moment for her. My brothers told her that if she didn't stop with the harassment, then they'll drop from the party too, and I can't help but think I caused this big mess. I'm sorry, you said you were 16, she's 23? She's 7 years older than you. And she's sounds like she's obsessed with you. She wants to live your life.
Am I the asshole for telling my brother that he didn't need to share that his wife was in labor in my wedding? So my wedding was days ago and my brother attended but his wife didn't because she was nearing her due date to give birth. The wedding was going great till my brother received a call from his mother-in-law telling him sister-in-law was in labor. He told me that he was leaving and my wife and I were fine with that, but the issue began after he told one of the guests sister-in-law was in labor. Word spread out and suddenly everybody was talking about it, which disrupted the event. Even my parents started calling and there was a huge fuss, which frankly was unnecessary if my brother just left in silence or made some excuse. Am I the asshole for telling my brother he didn't need to share that his wife was in labor in my wedding? I later contacted him and expressed my grief and frustration with what he did. I told him how the news of his wife being in labor disrupted the wedding and caused my wife to feel like her day was ruined. He lashed out asking how any of that was his fault, and I explained he should have left or made up some excuse. He said he meant no harm and that he was just in a hurry and worried at the time. He said it wasn't like he announced it and told me I disrespected him by arguing with him about it in the first place. Our parents are siding with him and told me to get over myself and are now expecting me to apologize.
Am I in the wrong for not wanting to pretend to be my twin on her wedding day? I, 30 female, have an identical twin sister, and for the purposes of anonymity, I'll call her Jess. Jess and I look so much alike it can be freaky. At one point, when we were still infants, they had to draw a little dot on the bottom of one of our feet just so they could keep track of who was who for medical reasons. My mom adored the fact that Jess and I were her cute baby twin girls and treated us as precious dolls who she would frequently dress alike and always make us do things together. At first, I didn't mind at all because, well, it was my normal and I do genuinely love my sister, but when we started getting older and I developed my own interests, I would get so frustrated or upset when I couldn't either do something because Jess didn't want to, or the only way that I could do it is if Jess could come with me and vice versa. It sucked because despite our appearances, Jess was the more extroverted twin who liked to go to parties and do sports, while I was introverted and artistic. I was always made to do what Jess wanted to do because me not wanting to be social was seen as bad, and the only way that Jess would agree to do and endure my hobbies was if I did her homework or chores. When my parents were divorcing, I was over the moon when my dad agreed to let me live with him in another state, and Jess didn't want to move away from all her friends. My mom cried when I had to tell her that I didn't want to live with her and Jess and accused me of hating them. This really wrecked me emotionally, and I almost cave when my dad got me into therapy, who helped me gather the courage to just leave. I never really did shake off the guilt until around senior year of high school, but I never regretted my choice because of how liberating I felt by getting to just be me. I slowly repaired my relationship with my mom and Jess, but Jess and I were never as close as we used to be, and I honestly was fine with that. Fast forward to adulthood, and Jess is engaged to her boyfriend Steve, 36 male, and their wedding is set for this spring. Unfortunately, Jess was recently in a bad accident and her face is going to need some cosmetic surgery. She's been crying on and off for days over this because there's no way she'll be healed up in time for her wedding. My mom, Steve, and I have been trying to console her, but it's not enough. Earlier this week, my mom approached me with the idea of dressing up as Jess and pretending to be her for the ceremony and reception so that the pictures will look nice. I was floored and gave a hesitant no, because while I do know that this would mean a lot to my sister, I just feel really uncomfortable about it. My mom was upset with me and said that it wasn't a big deal. It was just for pictures, and asked me if I really wanted to make it so that Jess would have to be reminded of her trauma whenever she had to look at our wedding photos, or just not have any photos at all. So